Headlander from Doublefine Productions is the perfect game for all those people who loved Castlevania but grew tired of Dracula's castle and flying Medusa heads, and who wished instead for Studio 54 and rainbow-colored androids. The conceit of the game is that the player controls a disembodied head, awoken from a cryo-sleep with no knowledge of her situation. This makes for Headlander's most unique aspect, the ability to pull the heads off of any of the world's robot inhabitants and take over their bodies. There are numerous different body types with their own weapons and color-coordinated security clearances used to open corresponding doors.
Not opening. Orange, you glad I told you?
Oh, and dance moves. It's got all the pieces in place to fit neatly into the Metroidvania genre, with a large map to fill out and plenty of gated locations that can be opened once upgrades are obtained. It strikes a good balance between the number of optional areas the player can unlock versus the amount of backtracking required. Headlander also features a healthy skill tree with a good amount of abilities and upgrades to keep gameplay fresh and reward exploration with experience points. The design is pretty par for the course, with the exception of a few tedious puzzles and a bland level or two. As anyone with eyes and or ears can tell you, the most striking part of Headlander is its art direction. The game is equal parts 1970s disco and retro sci-fi, with lots of color and funk. The charm doesn't stop there either. The writing, as is expected from Doublefine, is sharp and amusing. Not every joke lands, but there are a lot more chuckles than eye rolls. Unfortunately, the writing isn't as strong when it comes to the narrative, which is fairly mediocre. Something about an AI putting people in robot bodies and controlling them using magical gems. For the most part, it falls flat, and the best thing that can be said about it is that it doesn't get in the way. Headlander is an above-average experience. It's a pretty standard genre exercise, elevated by its novel head-swapping mechanic and strong art direction. Some uninspired puzzles and level design, coupled with a narrative that doesn't quite stick the landing, keep the game from achieving greatness. But there is room in the medium for a game that's just plain good, and doesn't need to stand head and shoulder above the rest.